guys, we are going to talk about the fourth quarter. So starting here October 1st, that brings us into the fourth quarter. And I read something recently that kind of made me chuckle and made me think about myself, and maybe you are this way too. So we all know the fourth quarter is awesome, supposed to be awesome, a great time because everybody is Christmas shopping, buying gifts, spending money. And so it's supposed to be wonderful for retailers. Yet what seems to happen a lot of times, myself included, is that by fourth quarter, I have seen on my financial statements that I am set to make more money than last year. And so it's kind of like deep breath and sigh of relief. And then we kind of take our foot off of the gas, and instead of really accelerating in that fourth quarter and pushing ourselves to sell even more and make even more money, we let up a little bit because we know we've made it. We're tired, we're worn out from pushing all year long. And I don't know about you, but I find that to be so true. So one of the biggest keys to having a successful fourth quarter is to not take your foot off of the gas and really to plan, schedule, and execute your goals. We talk about when you're in January to plan for the whole year, to come up with what you're going to do each month as far as something special, sales, events that you need to be thinking of. And then what happens is a lot of times then we just run out of time. And so maybe we have an awesome event, but we don't market for that event. And so it doesn't do as well as it could. And we just need to make sure that we really execute those things that we want. And I like this to scheduling your posts. I go over, I feel like every other month at least, telling you guys, just schedule your posts. It makes such a difference in my life when my posts are scheduled. So next week, I don't have all of my posts scheduled. I have my What Is It Wednesday. I have my Saturday Design Dilemma, but I don't have all of them done. And so that's a stress for me because now I have to hurry up and do those. I like to try and do multiple weeks, really a month at a time, because then that part of my business is on autopilot. When I have a free moment, I can check comments, but I'm scheduled and planned and executing being in somebody's face every single day on social media. So I like executing your holiday fourth quarter sales events to scheduling your posts. You want to have it planned out what you're going to do exactly, and then actually do it. And I know that this is one of those things that if you don't have actual brick and mortar, or you're not selling on a website or Etsy or Shopify or however online, it is different for you, because if all you do is set up at shows or have a booth, then marketing and planning for fourth quarter are different. However, I want you to really think about this scenario. So just because you have a booth or just because you set up at events does not mean that you do not have to market for yourself. You do. So I'm going to use an event for an example. So let's say that I'm setting up, Junk Jubilee is a local one. So just to give the event a name, we're going to say, okay, Brooke is setting up at Junk Jubilee. Now, if I'm setting up at Junk Jubilee and I'm like, oh, the promoter is advertising this event, I don't need to do anything. And there's going to be lots of customers there because this is a big event, the promoter's advertising it, it's a tradition, etc. So I'm not going to worry about marketing myself. So people come to the event And you know how shows are. Sometimes it's like a maze. Sometimes there's so many people you can't see things. Sometimes you take a path and end up skipping a booth just because however you're zigzagging around, or, and I'm talking as a customer, you as a customer are walking around and this booth is just jam-packed. So you go past it and you go to the next one, whatever the thing might be. You run to the bathroom and then you don't come back to the same spot because you're with a group. But you know how it is as a customer. And so as the vendor who is wanting those customers to shop in your booth, now they might miss you. So even though somebody is there that follows you on social media, that loves your stuff, that maybe buys off you online, they miss you at the event because they didn't know you were there. They didn't know where your booth was. They didn't know what your booth looked like. Or if you don't show your face on social media, they could walk right by you and not realize who you are. So when you are selling at an event, it is just like you are the promoter. You are the promoter for your own booth. You need to be showing people what you're going to take to the show. You need to be, show them behind the scenes of packing the trailer, show them behind the scenes of unloading. Do a little video that says, hey, you walk in the front door and here's how you're going to get to my booth. Here's what my booth looks like. Here's what my face looks like. You're going to be promoting it all of the time leading up to that event, because then what's going to happen, those people that follow you on social media, that love you, they're going to make a beeline when they get to that event to those booths of those shop owners that they follow on social media. And they're going to easily be able to find you because you have gone over with them many times what your booth looks like and where your booth is located, and they know your face. So at least if they're walking by and they don't recognize the junk, they recognize your face. Or vice versa. They don't recognize your face, but they recognize your booth junk. So you really, really do need to promote yourself, even if you're setting up at an event. And yes, you can still do a paid ad. The more customers you have, the more sales you're going to make. And this goes also to if you're in an antique mall or a shop that has multiple vendors, same thing. Promote your booth, promote yourself, promote any specials that the shop is having, that the community is having, and really do whatever you can to drive those people into the mall and direct them to where your booth is and what you're going to be having in your booth. Maybe you're going to have a special where on this Saturday, you're going to actually be there to either give them tips on how to clean junk, to help them shop and put together a gift basket for their wife, whatever it might be, you can promote your booth that way as well. It could also be buying stuff, bring me in something. I'm going to be set up here in my booth and I'm ready to buy your junk, whatever. Okay. If you're needing some inventory, but you want to promote your space, even if you're in a booth or setting up at a show. So this planning for fourth quarter, it really is geared towards a brick and mortar, because a lot of these events, if you have a booth or event, you're not going to have as much control over everything as if you do if you are the booth shop owner. And the other thing is you also are going to be promoting yourself online equally. So if you don't have a way for people to shop with you online, then you're not going to be able to do that aspect of it. But if you do have a way for people to shop online with you, you need to make sure to promote that for the fourth quarter too. Basically, you want to have a successful fourth quarter. You want to try and sell as much as you can to as many people as you can. Not only your Christmas goods, your gift goods, but also getting rid of your old inventory. And I know we've talked about this a little bit about having sales in your store. Some of you don't want to mark down your prices. You don't want people to think that they can negotiate. You don't want to have sales. And I understand that concept. However, you have to get rid of old inventory. So think about how could you get rid of old inventory? And it could be anything from doing a sale, and it doesn't have to be something fourth quarter, kind of like what we've already talked about, but it could be something where you spend this amount of money and you get a bonus item. You could do a gift basket, like an assembly bar gift basket, and put some of that old inventory that you have on that bar, essentially, for people to create a gift basket, or have those older items in a gift basket. And maybe, when you're totaling the gift basket in your head, really mark that item down, or almost like that's a freebie. So it's really giving a good deal to that gift basket. So you have to come up with ways to get rid of that end of the year inventory, because that's going to help your bottom line when it comes to end of year taxes and end of year inventory and end of year profit. Okay, so we talked about how you have to plan what you're going to do, you have to execute what you're going to do, and you have to tell people what you're going to do. So you need to be promoting yourself over and over again on social media, or if you advertise in a local newspaper, if you do something via text message or email, or whatever systems you have set up to communicate with your customers, you have to get those out ahead of time. Now, traditionally, you do not want to market something more than 4 weeks out, because people forget. We have so much on our plate. Our lives are so busy that if you spend a lot of money promoting something that far out, it's not going to help you. But you can always do save the dates periodically, and then the 2 weeks leading up to the event, then you're going to really hammer down. But how can you do it? Like I said, if you have your text message set up, then do that. If you like when other people do that for you, then that needs to be something that you are working at gathering cell phone numbers, so that maybe next year you have a good list that you can text. And 20 people can be a good list to text, because if I can text 20 people and all 20 of those people show up at my store, and let's say a third of them buy something, then having those cell phone numbers and sending out a little text was worth it, okay? Email, maybe you've been gathering emails for a year, 2 years, whatever. Maybe you just started last month. Send out emails. Emails do not have the logarithm issues. They do have a few issues as far as open rate, but you can say whatever you want, use whatever words you want in your email. And so that is beneficial to telling people all about what you have going on for the holidays. You can do an email. Here, this weekend we're doing this. This weekend we're doing this. This evening we're going to be open late. Here are our holiday hours. Here's blah, blah, blah. And you can do a recap. And then the next week or the next email, you can say, this is what's specifically going on this week. And then you could put a save the date for things that are happening a few weeks after that. And you just do that every week with what's going on, and really promote yourself. And of course, posting every day on social media, posting every day to stories. You really want to do that. Those are all free ways. So then you can do paid ways too. So maybe a paid ways, you're going to do a radio ad. You're going to do something in the newspaper. You can also do free press releases in the newspaper. So don't forget about that. You can do a paid Facebook or Instagram or Google or Pinterest ad, whatever you feel like is going to get you good results, where your customers are. That is the area that you're going to focus on. But typically you have to spend money. I know I'm cheap myself. It's like a curse of small business owners. We don't want to spend money, but the more money typically that you can spend on advertising, the bigger your return. You're going to have a return on your investment. So if you can spend money on ads, then you want to do that. And it could also be that you have everybody's addresses, so you write them a handwritten letter about your upcoming holiday events, about thank you for being a great customer this year, and here are our holiday hours, or whatever you want. But especially in a day of so much digital, doing a little handwritten postcard to your customers can really stand out. So that could be another way that you are advertising to your customers to draw them into those events that you have. So let's talk about outside the shop a little bit. You have to have stuff sitting outside your shop. You have to do something that's an attention getter, whether you have a spotlight, whether you have funky lights, whether you have trees and junk outside. You need to be rotating it, keeping it fresh, having something that is attention getting on the outside of your shop. I also recommend, especially during these holiday seasons when it's getting dark earlier in the evening, have your lights on all night. It really does help promote your space. Now, I'm not saying all your overhead lights, but you should have some little tea lights or Christmas lights or whatever on so that you can really stand out. Like if you have a exterior light, do that too. You know, anything you can do to stand out when customers are driving home late at night or they're out early in the morning, it's going to really grab their attention if you have your lights on. And you want to make your space pretty and inviting. If it looks awesome outside, they're going to be like, oh, it's going to be awesome inside, and that's going to draw them into your shop. So when we're thinking about what events we want to do, now you can't do everything under the sun, because remember, it's not just about having a good idea, but you have to actually promote it and execute it. And I also feel like you have to establish some traditions. So maybe you start an ugly Christmas sweater event this year. You're going to want to do it for like 3-5 years before you can determine if it's going to be a successful thing or not. Because the biggest thing with marketing is a lot of times you're like, oh, well, I've been here for 10 years. If they don't know about my shop now, they're living in the dark or whatever. But the fact of the matter is that even in a small community, a lot of times people have no idea that a certain store is there. So it could be a good customer for you. They just haven't been exposed to you yet. So if you want them to know about your events, you have to be putting your event out there. And that sometimes can take time and can take different methods of promoting it. So when you're trying to decide what events to do, probably the biggest thing is to look and see what's already going on in your community. For us, we have lots of Main Street events and lots of chamber events. So Elf on the Shelf, Breakfast with Santa Claus, Snowman Stroll. They've been doing not a live nativity. Well, they've done a live nativity, but a live window display. And that is a big evening. PJ night for the women. I mean, we have tons of events that the community is known for and already have a good turnout. So piggyback on those things and make sure that you have it scheduled for yourself to be doing the same thing, or do a spin on the same thing, but something that's going to complement. So if people are coming and shopping in their pajamas, then maybe you could have, instead of like photo with Santa, you could have a photo with, I'm not even going to be able to think. Not Father Time, but whatever the character is that puts you to sleep. And then you could do something fun with that, or Mr. Scrooge or something that would complement women being in their pajamas. And you could do a little photo op with that. So what things are already going on? And you need to know hours too, because maybe Breakfast with Santa is 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and you normally don't open until 11 on Saturday. Well, maybe because it's a holiday, you have holiday hours and you open early to help promote that. Or maybe you serve coffee and OJ for the kids or something, so that after they've had breakfast and the kids and parents and families are walking around and shopping, they can come in and get kind of a breakfast beverage at your place. If you have a pajama night, that's going to be open. You're going to need to be open late for that. Or we have done a thing where it was, and I don't remember the tagline specifically, but it was fathers and their kids coming out to shop for mom, and they got to have hot dogs, and it had some fun tagline. It's escaping me now what that was, but if that's already going on in your community, take advantage of all of the advertising and promotion that all of the participating businesses are doing, whoever is coordinating that event is doing, and you participate too. So it's really important to get in with your Main Street if you have one, your Chamber of Commerce if you have one, or you make your own little group. I talk about this all the time. Not only is it super, super important to build relationships with your customers, but it's also super, super important to build relationships with the shops around you or in your community, both the other antique shops and just the shops that if somebody came and shopped for the day, they would want to go to. So it can be food, it can be a coffee shop or, juice smoothie place. It could be clothing and new stuff. And so you guys all work together collaboratively to come up with an event, and you all promote each other. Even school events are going to be something that you want to pay attention to. Maybe they have a Christmas concert for the kids, or we have local bands, orchestras, musicians come in and play certain days. So maybe you could do something complimentary to that. They have an orchestra coming in and they want some sponsors for their program. You could sponsor that and put your ad in it. That way for 2 hours while people are watching the orchestra and looking at their program, they're seeing your ad and they can come to your shop. So don't forget about sponsoring things like that. For kids' Christmas concerts, maybe you market it where you have, maybe it's an elementary band concert and you have a couple high school kids come and play in your store. And so when you're doing your marketing on social media or in your local paper, you're really pushing to that crowd like, hey, continue the night of music and come to the shop for a little open mic, whatever you want to call it. Come up with something creative and listen to so-and-so play. Okay. By having people come into your shop and play, let's say you had a group of 3, or maybe you have a singer and a guitarist come in or something like that. That's like locally famous. That is going to draw people in because at least their family and friends are going to be coming into your shop, maybe that typically don't. And again, word of mouth. They're saying, hey, we're going to go sing in so-and-so's store on this night. Come listen. And so they're helping you with that promotion and programming to get people into your place. Another one that we do locally that I think would be a great way to team up and pair up, collaborate, is we do a tour of homes. There's actually 2 towns close that do tour of homes, and they both kind of do it a little bit differently. One is through the church. They tour a church. Normally in the church, there are all of the congregation has put out their nativities with little signs with the nativities about like maybe where they got it or the history of it or why they like it or whatever. So people go there and have coffee and snacks, desserts, and then they have a program that has them go around to different homes that are decorated out all for Christmas. I'm guessing you have something like this in your area. And you walk through these people's homes that have it all decked out for Christmas. Sometimes they will also have a business participate in this as well. So that could be something where you reach out to the people who coordinate that and say, I would be very interested in being the final destination or the kickoff spot where people come in and get programs. They pay if they haven't already prepaid tickets, or the closing spot is where you turn in your thing saying that you had been to all of the places, because sometimes that enters you into a prize. It could be that you donate the prize for somebody who gets their card drawn because they visited all of the places. Could be that you donate your time. So a lot of times if you are on the tour of homes, you are going to recruit people to help you decorate your different rooms. So it's a way more extravagant than what you would just have on your own in your own home. But you could maybe choose to decorate somebody's room, and then you have your information like decorated by such and such shop. Here are hours. Here's our location. It could be maybe that you just decorate a tree and then you have little signs or postcards people can take in the tree. So coming up with different ways like that to get your name in front of people, possible customers. So those would be a couple other local activities that we have that maybe your area has, but just to get your mind churning, because that's half of what it is just to be exposed to different events, come up with what you think is going to work for you, your shop, your time, your store layout, your everything, and then executing it. So coming up with what's already going on in your community is a great place to start on picking events. What are some other things that you can do as like event ideas just on your own, not necessarily things that are going on in the community? I do really think you want to work on pulling in kids, pulling in dads, and having them shop for mom. So maybe you offer some gift bundles. You tell people, hey, I have pre-made baskets, or you say, hey, dad, come in, tell me what your wife likes, and I will put together a gift for you. Or that gift bar or a bundle bar where you could have some sample gift baskets made up. Like, does your mom like, or does she, or does wife or whatever like kitchen? And then you have a kitchen bundle. Does she like creating? And then you have some kind of bundle where they can do some repurpose projects. Does she like movie night? And when you're doing your bundles, you don't just have to think about antiques. Maybe you pair up with a local handmade person who does soaps or honeys or embroiders towels or whatever. And so then you can have gift bundles that way. If it was like a movie thing, I mean, you think about candy, you think about the movie theater. So you could do something where you team up with your local movie theater, because you would be surprised at how many people, if you just ask them, they would do something. So if you ask like, hey, I would like to offer in store, I don't know if they're going to buy them, use them, or what the situation, but I would at least like to have them to offer, $10 gift certificates, $20 gift certificates to the movie theater. Would you give me any kind of deal on this? Or could I have 10 and then bring back what I don't sell or whatever? They are, at least in a small town, they are very perceptive to doing something special. So then you could have some gift certificates from the movie theater. You can go to Walmart or Aldi's and buy some bulk candies and then sell them. I mean, think about how much money we spend at a concession stand for sporting events on a bottled water that, costs 25 cents and they're selling it for $3. So you can do the same thing in your store is what I'm saying. So it doesn't necessarily have to be just junk. Have some sample baskets made up and have buy this one for X amount of dollars. And then you can have a make your own. So like maybe you have some buckets, like pick one thing from each bucket, put it in this container. Or do you want help decorating? I would have somebody there manning the space. And then that's a great thing for like the kids to put together a gift for mom or even hubby to do something like that. You could always get the garden club involved and do a plant something in junk and have them take it and have them help. So many organizations need volunteer hours. So don't think that having somebody man a station like that or do something for you is going to cost you extra money. You just need to be willing to ask. So maybe you call your garden club, tell them your idea, see if they would be interested in volunteering. Your red hat ladies, your PEO, schools. Guys, so many schools the kids need volunteer hours and they just don't know how or don't know the possibilities. So call the school, talk to the student council leader, NHS. Our local school has silver cords now, which I think maybe is a statewide thing, but the kids have to have so many volunteer hours and then they get the silver cords. And then there's special like scholarships for people who have silver cord and all this other stuff. So there are lots of groups out there, church groups, 4-H, everybody needs, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, everybody needs volunteer hours. So you could recruit some of those kids or groups to help your shop. And, you know, I would just know what you wanted them to do so that you could tell them ahead of time so that they could pick the appropriate people to do those tasks. So for example, Small Business Saturday would be a great time to have some kind of photo booth or even a sign to hold up, like I shopped local, shop the Junk Parlor, and people hold that up. And it could be where you want every single person that comes into your shop to get a photo, or at least that you ask them. Well, you can't do that if you are helping customers who are spending money or you're unloading a piece of furniture that sold or whatever. So you get this young high school girl who's super outgoing, who's on student council or NHS, and you tell her what you want, and she can be like, when people come in the door, hey, it's awesome. Thanks so much for shopping or coming by for Small Business Saturday. We would love to feature you on the Junk Parlor's Facebook page. Can we get a picture of you? Here's a couple props that you could use, or here's a photo booth, photo station that you could go stand behind or whatever. Have her take the pictures, and then she can do that on her own phone and then airdrop them to you or text them to you or whatever kind of device you have. And then she's earned volunteer hours. It's probably something that get a girl who that's something she likes to do anyway. And so it's like a win-win for everybody. And then you can post those on your social media, and that's going to help draw attention. People are going to see that so-and-so is shopping there. People are going to see the picture of themselves and possibly share it. It's definitely going to strike conversation, which is going to help your word of mouth. So that's an idea. If you did a shopping, like staying open late so that when people get off at 5 or 6 o'clock at night, they still have time to come and shop with you, or they can go pick up the kids from daycare and come shop. Well, maybe dad is like terrified of trying to wrangle the kids. So you could promote it like, hey, dad's shop and kids can get their face painted. Again, ask student council, NHS, hey, can the girls, or it doesn't have to be a girl, can the student council members come in and do some face painting? So you have a little face painting booth set up. The kids can sit there and get their face painted while dad goes around and shops. So that is always another example of how you could use volunteers. Volunteers also for gift wrapping, having a gift wrapping station. I mean, I get a chuckle every Christmas when my dad wraps my mom's gifts, because it has become just like something funny where he'll wrap like a case of pop and he'll put it inside like 20 boxes with insane duct tape and twine. And then inside the pop is like a little gift card to a clothing store. So I know most guys do not want to have to wrap. So if you can have a wrapping station and really promote that, hey, this Saturday and this late night shopping, we're offering free gift wrapping. And you would have to pay for the wrapping supplies. However, you could get volunteers to pay, that you wouldn't have to pay to work the space while you are doing your job of helping customers and making sales. So lots of opportunities for volunteers. Kind of also along those same lines, just speaking of groups, you know, lots of times people are looking for something different to do for a holiday party or as a thank you to their employees. And you could always, you know, throw it out there about hosting a party here, because we always can clear off a table and do a little buffet or a little hors d'oeuvre table or dessert bar. and then have music on and let people mingle in the shop and talk. And again, they might not buy something that night, but you are exposing them to your business, okay? They're going to be taking pictures about their holiday party, posting it on social media. Oh, where was your holiday party? It looks like an awesome store. And then they might come to your store because of something that they saw from that holiday party. So that would be something different that you could think of to do. Whether you have it be your building is for rent, and whether I wouldn't necessarily probably provide the food for something like that. I would have the business come in, but you could say, hey, I'm going to have this table out. We can use these cake risers. You bring the food in and I can style it or whatever. However you want to work it out to make it a win-win for both. Going along the food buffet line, I know I've mentioned this one before, but one of the things that another shop owner does that she said feels like has been super successful is to have a breakfast buffet for a customer appreciation. So it's where she's open just for these select customers that she has done a handwritten invite to. She provides the food, the brunch, and then they can shop. So it's like an exclusive shopping time for her best customers, and they can mingle and eat while they are shopping. And that, she said, has just gone over wonderfully. So that is something that you can do. Now, you can look on your point of sales and be able to tell who your best customers are. At least via invoice, I can tell who spent how much money in the year. I haven't ever honestly checked on the Square if you can do it just from retail sales, because it kind of records their name with their credit card. But you could try that. But I know when I had my brick and mortar, especially because I was an occasional shop, I knew the names of the girls who came in every month. Maybe they didn't buy something, but I still consider them one of my best customers because they physically came to my store and I know that they promoted me to their friends. And then you have your customers who maybe only came 3 times a year, but they spent a lot of money those 3 times. So those would be people that you would want to include too. So it is a little bit different if you do online or brick and mortar, but that would be another option on just creating a fun atmosphere, saying thank you to your loyal customers, and having a fun event. Another key way to draw people into your store is to donate to charity. So bring a can for our Lord's Cupboard and get a free junk item, get a free t-shirt, get a discount off of a gift certificate, get a discount off of whatever, spend so much, get a discount. You could do something like that. It could be even, we do Operation Santa, where information about kids or families are on typically little mittens and they're on Christmas trees at certain stores. You could reach out to whoever coordinates that in your local area and be a place where people can pick up the mittens so that they can buy for those families. You could be a drop-off location for that as well. You could be a place where they donate socks, tennis shoes, coats, mittens, all sorts of things, whether you team up with something like Operation Santa, your Lord's Cupboard, a local church. But people a lot of times want to give to others at the holiday season. And so by being a spot where they can do that, then they can come in and shop while they're there as well. You could also pick a local charity and do a % of sales is going to go, and it doesn't have to be a local charity, but to a charity. Multiple years, our chamber has done a little, the shops would decorate a tree in the theme of their charity. And then when customers came in, I think we focused on one particular weekend, the year that I participated, really promoted that at my checkout counter to get donations for that. So it wasn't necessarily that I was matching it. It wasn't necessarily, getting them a discount with my shop. It was literally just helping out that charity. And there was a list of all the different shops that were participating and what their what their charity was. That one was a very fun promotion and drew a lot of people in. And I think just also educated people on different charities that they could give to. So I thought that that was a very educational one. And kind of going with keeping the kids entertained and offering a discount. Playing games is always fun. Do like a wheel of fortune where, you know, it lands on something and you get a discount, or lands on something, you get a free shirt, or lands on something and you get a picture with the boss. I mean, whatever you want it to be. You can do funny things on a game type thing that don't necessarily have to be a discount if you are against discounts. But having some kind of game and interaction. It could be where you hide an elf. Kind of the elf on the shelf idea. Hide an elf. If somebody finds the elf, they get XYZ. Or maybe it's find the elf and this is a prize for 8 to 14-year-olds, and then they get to rehide the elf. They get a discount. They get a picture on social media. They get a free t-shirt. It gives kids something to do. Also, having a little bingo card can be very beneficial. Like maybe even just like find these 6 things and get your name entered in for a drawing, or give it to the kids. Have them have a crayon and color in the items that they find once they find them. So it would need to be something that you have a lot of. So maybe it could be a pulley and you have a picture of a pulley and they color the pulley in when they have found it. Or maybe it's a Christmas tree or a star and they color it in when they find it. It helps entertain the kids and it helps give the parents some time to shop. So things for the kids to keep the kids busy is always a good option too. And suckers, candy, a sticker, a tattoo, anything like that that the kids can have. It really makes it memorable and also is a conversation starter, word of mouth for advertising. So conversation starter in the sense that, oh, where'd you get that tattoo? Oh, we got it at the Junk Parlor. Oh, well, where's that? What do they sell? When are they open? And speaking of when are they open, especially if you have different holiday hours or you're open late or open early, certain times, you need to have those posted everywhere. When you need to know if somebody's open, where do you go? You know, I go to Facebook a lot of times, type in that business. Okay, it says they open at this time. So you want it to be accurate on there. For occasional shops or people like me that have weird hours, you need to have it in some kind of picture as your cover photo, as the first photo in your album. Make sure it's on Yelp. Make sure it's on Google. Make sure it's on your website. So you need to have your shop hours, especially if they're different for the holidays, posted everywhere. It could be a pin post to the top on Facebook or wherever you need to put it. It needs to be everywhere. Don't forget the power of a gift card. So gift cards, I can't even remember. I saw it on the news station not too long ago that majority of gift cards don't even ever get used. So thinking of that mindset, you really probably need to be promoting them more often, because when people do use them, they bring them in and they typically are going to spend more than their gift card. So that's a bonus. And if they don't come in, then that's just money in your pocket and you're not out on inventory. So promoting your gift cards, even like adding them, offering them as a bonus. So spend $50 and get a free $10 gift card to be used at a future date, or get a $50 gift card for $40 this week only. You can do gift cards online too as well if you sell online. So really thinking about different ways you can utilize those gift cards. Even doing a giveaway, you know, the like, comment, share kind of thing. Don't do that because we've talked about how it's really against Facebook policy, but come up with some kind of giveaway, and the prize could be your gift card or gift certificate. So that would be something to not forget about. I think I mentioned it already, but a photo with Santa or some kind of booth, you could have one of those out all of the time. You could also, going back to your gift certificates, you know, take a photo, post it on social media, and I'll pick one this month for a $50 gift card. Have little signs maybe around the shop that say that, and then that will help as well. Or even check in at Facebook and get get a entry into getting a free gift card. Don't forget ugly sweaters. Don't forget you can get headbands with elf ears. You can get Santa hats, really making your shop an experience. It could be, you know, wear an ugly Christmas sweater and get X amount off, or get a free t-shirt. Different things like that to just draw people in and get them in the door is what you want to do this fourth quarter. So really honing in on figuring out what of these things you're going to do, or how can you do take an idea and do your own spin-off, and then what do you need to do to execute it. So if October 30th you're going to do this activity, what do you need to do leading up to then actually make it happen? Super, super important is the make it happen part. We can all have great ideas and we can do something half-ass, but we want to make it happen to truly know if it is going to make an impact on our business, and we need to do that repeatedly. So you want to keep track of these things, like, okay, so October 30th, I did this activity or this event. Here are the things I did to promote it. Here's how much money I spent on promoting it. Here's the day or days of the event, and here's what my sales were. Maybe kind of talk about, hey, the weather was nice, it wasn't nice. We had a lot of people in, but only half the people bought stuff, or whatever, and take some notes for yourself. Then the next year you do it all over again and you take notes and you compare. And then the next year you do it all over again and you take notes and you compare. The biggest thing is you have to do all that other stuff to really know if it's working or not, to really know what you need to change or adjust or how you need to pivot, because you don't want to put a bunch of time and energy into something and then not have somebody show up. So marketing and execution are very, very, very important in this fourth quarter. Don't let yourself go on standby or on, rest. Really continue to keep pushing to really execute and finish strong in this fourth quarter, because it will also translate into January. January for me was normally a very good month in my brick and mortar. So that push for good fourth quarter will continue into the start of the new year. Another big key that I don't think we have talked about yet is you have to have your Christmas stuff out early. The earlier you can get it out, the better. It doesn't have to be the whole blown shop. You can have different sections, but really creating that holiday atmosphere really draws people in. You want to play to all of their senses, their smell, their sight. So beautiful displays, nostalgia, the sounds, having music playing or having carolers come. Really want to play to all of their senses in your shop. So getting that Christmas stuff out early. And again, even if you don't have a lot of Christmas stuff, maybe it's already sold, or you have it out in the first couple weeks, it's pretty much gone. Reds and greens and things that are the shapes of Christmas trees, even if they are not a Christmas tree, looking at repurposing. Be Pinterest for people. Give people ideas on how they can create that holiday feel, even without having, a ton of Santa, reindeers, and elves out or whatever. So by choice of colors. I wish you guys the best of luck in doing your fourth quarter, and keep that gas pedal going.